Good morning. One second, we're getting a sound check real quick. All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. Just getting all the audio set up here so we can get this thing done right. Hope you guys are doing well. There's a lot going on right now, and there's a lot I've been meaning to say, but sound's not coming in just as I wanted it. But let me see if I can get this fixed. Testing. Alright, so whatever. Sound's not working, it's not cooperating with me, but we're gonna get this thing going, guys. Alright, so today's chapter is going to be chapter 8. Alright. We'll fix the post editing and all that kind of stuff. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is now Friday the 10th. And I just wanted to say, peace and blessings to you all. Hope you all are doing well. It's taking us 5 minutes to get this thing going, but we are excited either way, and we're going to make this thing happen. Like I was saying earlier, there's a lot going on that, that I've been meaning to say a lot. I've been meaning to come on here and talk to you guys a lot about things that I'm experiencing, things that I'm witnessing. I am what you would call a watchman, a truther. I sit there and study truth and try to put the pieces together the best I can so that we are not deceived by the devices of our enemies, so that we are not taken advantage of, and so that we don't get caught slipping. Because we ought to be on top of things as far as life and the circumstances that come our way, including our enemies. So I just like to, put the pieces together as they fit and do the best I can to be my brother's keeper, if that makes sense. So, lots been going on. I know I'm taking days in between our podcast here and just making adjustments as we go. Last thing, just to let y'all know what's going on in my life. Recently became stay-at-home father, as far as I don't know, what do you call that? A homeschool parent. I think that's what they call it. In our school, they call this a life coach, learning coach. So we're there to help the students, our kids, in the homeschooling program. If you are considering homeschooling your children, I highly recommend it. Get your kids out of the regular programs, public school program. If you care, a lot of people don't care. They see the public school system as sort of a free daycare, just to send their kids off and have them run around for a few hours and you get some time to yourself. That's pretty selfish. There's a lot of people that look at it that way, which I don't, agree with that at all. Educating our kids is very important. Making sure that they can grasp information and blend things well, and pretty much what's the word? They pretty much can articulate things on their own, put pieces together the way they should be. Again, I believe that a lot of people have been dumbed down in these school systems where they don't have critical thinking. They don't think for themselves. Anyway, kind of ranting on about that. This is supposed to be our book club podcast. Here I am talking about some truther stuff. But what's amazing is that this chapter was going. I didn't know what to expect with this chapter, actually. I don't. For those of you that are new to the channel, I don't know what's going to be coming in the next video. I don't know what's going to come in tomorrow's video, the day after. The way I do this is I do a book club, and our book is Man Up by Bedros Keuilian. Right? So I do a book club, and I don't read ahead. Not too far ahead. I just read. I read at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, whenever I get a chance. This is our book again. Book is Man Up, and you can like and share, subscribe to our channel here. Share our channel so we can get this thing growing. At Big Money Manny on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and currently on Anchor. We are broadcasting on Anchor tonight. And pretty much what I do is I read a chapter. Right after I read the chapter, I go through it and take some highlights out of it. I highlight some things that I feel need to be shared, and then I put them on to my what do you call it? The app that I'm using to broadcast, which is StreamYard. Shout out to StreamYard. Awesome little sites we have here. And then after that, I go live and I read it again with you all. That's how I do this. That's how I do this channel. And I just feel like it's some great information that's in these books that we're reading, so that we can better ourselves, become the best individuals, leaders, the best support staff, whatever you are, a parent, a teacher, a coach. I feel like we have to self-improve, whether we're in a business or you're a leader of some organization or church. You have to self-improve, and this channel is dedicated to that. And I believe that reading books like this and working on our mindset will really benefit your team, will really benefit your business. It'll help income. It'll help yourself, help your mental health. And when looking at things that are going on today, it's so hard to be positive. It's hard to be that positive person and talk about positive things with things that are going on today. It's definitely a challenge, even more so than ever before. More than ever before, I believe that. You know, I mean, of course, we've had some challenges throughout our history. You know, I don't know what it's like to have lived during those times in war, in slavery, and segregation, in a Great Depression, the way we hear about it from the 20s. There's a lot of things that we haven't gone through. We've had a pretty cushy life since the 80s, you know. But today, I feel like this is probably the worst that we've experienced, only because we've gone so advanced in many things and lived such great lifestyles. And here we are facing this major dilemma, which is more than a health issue. It's a compliance issue. It's a mental health issue. And, you know, we can dive further into that when I start up my Watchmen channel again. But anyways, it's hard to be positive with all these things going on, right? And I'm like, God, I want to just blast some people right now. I just want to go out there and start sharing truth. You know, this is what, you know, I was like, forget being positive, you know. I was like, forget that positivity stuff, mental health stuff. You know, I want to get out there and start exposing stuff. And it just, I never got to the point to where I could sit down and do all that. Fast forward, here I am, you know, a few days since my last chapter, and I said, okay, I got to put a chapter out. It was a few days ago that we did chapter 7, and we got to get to the next chapter, you know. And whether I have viewers or not, this is documented so that when people get to find these channels or these videos on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, Twitter, they will be able to watch and learn and hopefully gain something awesome, you know, and hear something interesting, something that'll benefit them. And I will go into books that will benefit people, or things that I feel have benefited me and my business, and I feel like it's worth sharing. You know, because I'm not going to be selfish with the information, you know. And how awesome God is that He brings a chapter to me on this day when I've been feeling like super down the past couple of days, guys. It's been a continuous thing, up and down, up and down, up and down. The life of an entrepreneur. I mean, you really got to know how to roll with the punches. And we're going to cover that today. Being a business owner, you have to be resilient, because there are times where things are great and there are times where there is a struggle. The struggle is definitely real, or how people were saying, you know, this new phrase people start saying. It's funny how those things, I hate those things actually. When there's a new saying and everybody says it for everything, they hear it in a movie and they repeat it, because that's what people do. They repeat. They're always copying someone else, never coming up with something original. You know, which, by the way, I'm a big opponent to going with the grind, following what everybody else does. I hate that. I really do. Anyways, hopefully the sound's coming in. Let me get another sound check here. Let me make sure this thing is coming in clear, because I just can never get it straight, man. That's one thing I really got to work on. Testing. I think it's sounding good. Yeah, so we good. By the way, there's some awesome music for you, some slow whiskey blues in the background. I'm a big blues fan. And yeah, shout out to, what channel is this? This is Slow Whiskey Blues by Blues Lounge. 24 hours. Free on YouTube. Gotta love it. So, anyways, God is awesome because he brings me to a chapter when I've been meaning to share other information. And then we go, okay, now let's just stick to the route. Let's do our book. Do our book club thing. Read a chapter. Come on here. Share the information. And we'll go from there. And it's hard to shout out to any leader, anybody that decides to take a stand. Anybody that takes a stand out of love for people and trying to wake people up and trying to keep people from being deceived. I hate being lied to. I hate when people are being lied to. You know, it's just dumb. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about that. And here God is bringing me to this chapter. I didn't know we were going to read all this in this chapter, but it definitely helped me as a leader and as a person who seeks to be a person of influence online. This is definitely some great information. And I can't wait to share with you this chapter. It's a big chapter. It's a meaty chapter, but we're going to fly right through it. It's not a lot. I'm going to try to paraphrase as much as I can to help you so that you can grasp this information and be better for you, right? So, and be better for it. All right, so this is section 1 of this chapter. Of this book. The book, again, is called Man Up by Bedros Keuilian. And we're going to get into this. All these chapters we've been reading, this is chapter 8. They're all part of section 1, which is called Leading Yourself. And this is the final chapter of section 1. This is chapter 8. Why you should never sleep with the TV on. Why you should never sleep with the TV on. Again, I love his choices for the names of his chapter. So he starts off talking about a woman named Sarah, who was a fashion consultant. Okay, she's a fashion consultant and also one of his coaching clients. And she had a business of her own, and the book goes on saying that she, much like other entrepreneurs, right? And I could definitely attest to this. I can relate to this. She was struggling in her business in a very particular way, but like all entrepreneurs, Sarah encountered occasional challenges, setbacks, and unexpected financial burdens. Right? Which is what it is to be a business owner. It's not all glam and glory. There are a lot of down days. There are a lot of days where things are slow. There's a lot of days where things are business is just not flowing the way you want it to. She had says here, she encountered occasional challenges, setbacks, and unexpected financial burdens. She had been an entrepreneur long enough to have gone through several phases of growth and had already experienced many obstacles. What I noticed about Sarah, though, was that she continued to react to each setback as though it was the absolute end of her business. And I laughed at that when I read it because that's how people are. I've been a trainer in business for almost 8 years. And one thing I realized is that when people come in, they're all excited, like, oh man, I'm going to have this awesome business. It's going to give me all this money. I'm going to be able to have all this freedom, yada, 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 whatever. Which is definitely a goal, which is definitely something we are aspiring for, right? We're trying to get to. But here's the thing. Everybody comes in and they're excited till they get punched in the mouth. They face obstacles. They get, negative returns. They get people that let them down. They get clients that cancel their services. And when that happens, people get punched in the face for the first time. They're like, oh, I don't like that. They're like, I don't like that. And so they run back to another job, or they go back to their old job. Because why? Because it's more comfortable. It's easier. Just sit in that cubicle and collect that money. All right. So her response was out of however, her responses were out of proportion. It's funny how he put it. It's that every time there was an obstacle, she reacted as if it were the absolute end of her business. It was like, oh, this is it. Business is going to fall apart now that somebody canceled their service. or one of my guys quit. Oh, that's it. This is the end of my business. What happens is a lot of people think like that. And because they think like that, they give up right away. They give up too soon. So he says that her responses were out of proportion with the challenges, just like many of us that join a business or start a business. And so during one of his meetings, someone brought up the topic of sleep and how as entrepreneurs, they sometimes can't get enough sleep or feel rested for the next day's challenges ahead. So what happened was Sarah quickly claimed or she chimed in and volunteered the fact that she simply did not sleep well at night and needed to figure out a way to get better sleep, which is definitely one of my struggles. And we covered that a couple chapters back. I definitely recommend you go back and read that chapter really quick. Chapter 5, I believe it was, powerful information about getting your sleep pattern right. And Bedros Keuilian said that out of his entire book, if you only learn that, that's all you needed. She went on to saying that having the TV on in the background seems to help quiet her mind so that she could fall asleep and stay asleep. And I'm like that. I'm just like her. I can sleep through the noise. In fact, I prefer noise. I hate sleeping when it's quiet. I always have to have some music playing, or I'm one of those ASMR fans. I can, sit there and listen to someone carving wood and fall asleep, and it's just very soothing to me. I love sleeping with noise. I don't know what it is. Ever since I was a child, my parents were the kind of parents that are always hosting dinners and having people come over, and I love to listen to their voices and listen to them laugh and listen to the utensils clanging against the dishes, while they're eating, the fork hitting or scratching the plate. I love those sounds, and I love falling asleep to that. I loved it. I don't know what it is. So, and when she said this, that she would play the TV on and leave it on in the background so that she could fall asleep, it kind of quieted her mind so that she could fall asleep and stay asleep. He realized, okay, that's my golden thread, and that's what he was looking for. So he asked Sarah what she watches when she falls asleep, and she said, "Oh, I watch the cable news, or cable news channel." She casually responded. So he says, "Do you think having the news channel on all night while you sleep is causing you to experience a disproportionate amount of anxiety and stress in your work?" And he asked this even though in that instance he already knew the answer. He just wanted her to arrive at that same answer alone, by herself. And at first he wasn't able to connect the dots, and I thought I can understand, and I can understand why. The concept of having the TV on all night while you sleep and then being emotionally charged and on the edge the next day isn't something that's easy to connect. So I broke it down for her. And he said, "Sarah, your subconscious mind," this is huge now, your subconscious mind is always recording everything around you. Because when you fall asleep with the news network on all night, your subconscious mind is recording all the negativity that they are reporting from around the world. As an entrepreneur, you've got an obligation to keep your mind safe from negativity that can influence your belief system and ultimately your day-to-day habits and actions. That's huge. So he asked this question, and as soon as she mentioned that she watches TV, he was like, "Oh, okay, I got you. That's the problem right there." And he says, "Don't you think that it affects you?" And she couldn't put it together quite at that moment, and so he goes on to telling her that your subconscious mind, I love when he said that, is always recording everything around you. You got to take a minute and appreciate that statement. That is very well true. Very much so. Because your subconscious mind is always alert, it's always listening, it's always picking up, even if you're thinking about something else. Your subconscious mind, man, I don't know, like if you've experienced it where I'm like deep in thought about something, and my thought process travels from one subject to another subject to another event to another event. and I get home from a crazy location, some random location, and I was like, man, I wasn't even thinking about it. I just made my way home, made the turn, stopped at the red lights, and perfectly fine without even thinking. I was stuck in my thought about whatever subject, and in my subconscious mind, I was able to drive home without having to think about it. Almost like muscle memory. The power of the subconscious mind. Yes. So, as an entrepreneur, we have a responsibility to protect our minds, our subconscious mind. And it says here, you have an obligation to keep your mind safe from negativity that can influence your belief system and ultimately your day-to-day habits and actions. Have you ever had a dream where you were falling and woke up and started your day as though you actually fell off out of the bed? That's the mind incorporating what's happening around you into your reality. When the talking heads on TV are reporting on the cost of war and impending doom of the economy, inflations, murders, and crimes, it says, don't you think your subconscious mind is recording it all and operating from a place of hopelessness, fear, and uncertainty? Question. Of course it is. That's how subliminal messaging works. I was so shocked to get at this part, because this is what I wanted to talk to people about. This is what I wanted to share. I made a couple of videos too exposing some of this stuff and how your subconscious mind is definitely a tool that is being used against you to control you, and pretty much they can predict what you're going to do and how you're going to react to certain situations, because they've already got you by your subconscious mind. And so we have a responsibility to free that up, right? To break out of that. So, of course it is. He said, this is how subliminal messaging works. He says, information is fed into your subconscious mind, and that information then controls your belief system, and that controls your habits, which controls your actions. Huge, right? Information that is being fed into your subconscious mind, and that information controls your belief system. Hello, all the stuff going on today. And that controls your habits, which control your actions. All the while you believe that you're making conscious decisions, when in reality, those decisions have been made for you. So if your subconscious mind is consuming negative and fear-based information, then it's going to amplify your reactions to the normal challenges and setbacks that happen as an entrepreneur. Feeding your mind negativity by watching the news, listening to it on the radio, reading it on the internet and in newspapers, and gossiping about it with people creates a negative outcome and a fear-based mindset. Again, very relative to what's going on today. And that's not what decisive and effective leaders are made of. After our discussion, Sarah stopped sleeping with the television on, and lo and behold, she changes her habits. She realized that she was emotionally reactive, and that went down, and that her ability to handle setbacks were up. Now she responds with confidence, clarity, and courage to each situation presented to her. Best of all, her employees now respect her. Beautiful. Awesome story so far about Sarah. Put another Sarah check here just to make sure everything's going. Sounding good. So, her employees started to respect her, and they are definitely on board with her vision. So getting rid of the late night TV wasn't the only change Sarah made. She also fixed what we talked about a couple of days ago, which is her sleep pattern, making sure you go to bed by 10 p.m. and being up by 5 a.m. and not just being up all night, staying, to watch TV or scroll through social media, which we're all guilty of. Checking emails. She wakes up at 5 in the morning. She attacks her attack list. She works through her attack list without disruptions. Again, follow that chapter. And she focuses on self-care by getting a 45-minute workout in 5 days a week and eating healthy foods that are low in sugar, high in protein, fiber, low in carbs. She evolved into a strong, capable, and decisive leader and began to develop a clear picture of how she wanted her business to look, where she wanted to go, and how it was going to get there. It wasn't by accident. It was a bunch of conscious decisions, right? So your mind is your day-to-day decision-making computer. And just like I should have highlighted that, and just like a computer, if your mind is infected with a virus, it will perform poorly. In Sarah's case, the virus was the subconscious messaging of the late night news. But everyone has a version of the virus in their lives, and they need to get a handle on it. So pretty much what we're saying is you got to figure out what it is that is speaking the negativity into your mind, what it is that is speaking into your subconscious mind, causing you to affect your belief system and even limiting your belief system, which then affects your decision making, your actions for the day, which will produce the wrong kind of results. Therefore, you don't get paid what you should have been paid. Your business doesn't grow in which it should have if you had a clear mind and you were not being drip fed information from the internet or wherever else you're getting your information from. So he says everyone has a version of that virus. We all have things that are speaking that negativity into our minds. We all have recordings that were recorded by our subconscious mind years ago, including myself. I have things that I don't do because of fear, because of things that were implanted into my subconscious mindset that has been recorded by my subconscious mind that keeps me from doing certain things. Another way to look at your mind is a tip of the iceberg perspective. The tip of your conscious mind, that's the mind you use when you decide whether you're going to have sushi or steak for dinner. The conscious mind is also used for simple day-to-day decisions like long or short sleeves, coffee or tea, stairs or the elevator, etc. But the thing that controls your big, important decisions is the larger, hidden part of the iceberg. So I love this. This is called the tip of the iceberg perspective. So I don't know if you've seen that picture of the iceberg in school where it's there's a water level and you see like a little hill, right, of the iceberg, right, and you can see that, but what you don't see is how deep the rest of the iceberg is, how large it is. So what he's saying is that just the tip of the iceberg is the little conscious part that we see. That's the part that's making the decisions for your day-to-day tasks, the things that you're going to do, where you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, if you're going to brush your teeth or not today, all that stuff. But there's a whole lot more going on. If you go deep, the iceberg is bigger. That's the subconscious mind. So he says this is your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is always recording the environment around you and influencing your belief system. It influences your belief system. And the things that you believe are the things that you will manifest in your life. One of the things that I want to do is reach out to people and help them to understand that they're not thinking for themselves right now. There's a lot of people that aren't thinking for themselves. Their thoughts process and their belief system is based on the information that was drip fed to them. And now their subconscious mind is keeping them from breaking free and thinking critically. They're thinking on their own. They're thinking based on what the herd is doing. Right? You can coin me on the phrase herd stupidity. Real thing. So, the things that you believe are the things that you will manifest in your life. Absolutely. Everyone has a soundtrack that we're playing in our heads. Right? This soundtrack plays a continuous loop and has tremendous influence on your subconscious mind and then determines your belief system and your actions. What soundtrack is playing in your head? For most people, I suspect it's a negative self-talk loop. They are not capable, not deserving, not worthy of money or success. or that the competition is too steep, the economy is too volatile, the market is too disjointed. These are the kind of people I've been taught to stay away from, people that are just negative. You tell them, hey, things are going to be great, things are going to be awesome, and they're like, I don't know, man, it's kind of hard. Things are not good. The market's too whatever. This area is too saturated. There's nothing new here with us. We're not gonna make it. There's people that I just can't stand to be around because they're so negative. One person in particular was talking about an opportunity to advance in his job, and his own family member, his mother, was right there listening, just like, oh, you should go for it. He's like, nah, there's too many people there going for it. I ain't gonna get it. I was just like, how sickening, how gross that thinking is. I hate that kind of thinking. Not even any kind of excitement, like, you know what, yeah, I would put in an application. I am worthy of it. I am deserving of it. I could make it happen. I can run circles around those guys. I know I can do it. If given the right opportunity, I would thrive. Why not why not hang out with people like that are always positive and optimistic? There's some people that are so pessimistic, it's just ridiculous. And I can't stand to be around that. I really can't. It's because they have a soundtrack that plays over and over in their heads, and they refuse to cut that soundtrack off and play something else. I don't know. You can't help people like that. When they make a decision, they're gonna just stay that way. God bless you if you're gonna try to help them, man. Seriously. Oh, but you wanna hang out with better thinking people. Sorry. So this negative self-talk soundtrack could be installed by your family, your upbringing, a trauma, negative childhood experiences, which I'm a victim. Someone molested me when I was a kid. I don't think I shared that on this channel, but I have a reason why I have a chip on my shoulder, and I don't let it ruin my life, but definitely my guard is up, and I could understand people that have experienced something like that. This negative self-talk soundtrack could be installed by those experiences, friends, or family, or your choice, your circle of influence, the people that you surround yourself with. It says you can't expect to have amazing experiences and outcomes if the soundtrack in your mind is negative and self-limiting. Huge. It's so true. You can't expect to have a great life and have all these awesome experiences, if you're gonna keep playing this negative soundtrack and being self-limiting. Don't expect someone to come over and just hand you a promotion if you're gonna limit yourself. Seriously. And it says here, so how do we fix this? And there it is. Read a book. Read books, you guys. Read a book. This is a book club. And I understand it's a slow growth, in the YouTube world, and I'm still fairly new, but this is, I don't know how many chapters we've done so far, probably my 40th video or something, like somewhere around there. But definitely, I understand that the topic that I chose of being, self-improving, that this channel is going to be dedicated to reading a book and sharing the information that we get out of that book. I understand that this is not the most popular thing. I'll probably make more of a higher view channel if I just do videos on my truck out there, and how the updates I'm going to be doing on my truck. I'll probably make more views or get more views doing that. But this right here is what's going to help people, and I have a passion for it to help people with this and get people to reading again, because I can see the difference it makes in my life and in my children's life. So read a book. It says, so how do we fix this? We read books, we listen to audio programs, and reprogram your mind with positive, uplifting messages. There's an entire industry devoted to personal development. Just pick up a book, a podcast, and dive in. Surround yourself with positive and optimistic people. After all, you are the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. And by making these shifts, you will change the soundtrack into one of positive self-talk, and that leads to an optimistic belief system. See, there you go. right? So by fixing all these things, you correct your belief system, which leads to better actions, which produce successful outcomes. You get the results. And like anything, it's not a one-time thing. Okay, you can't just do that one time. Just like the gym, you don't just show up to the gym one time and expect to be buff, be all muscled up, like me, right? So you have to do this over time through repetition, right? Just like negative thoughts that were reinforced and installed into your brain, it was through repetition that you start to think like that, right? So by making these shifts, you will change the soundtrack with one of self-talk. All right, and so again, repetition, repeat it to you guys. Repeat it, the positive self-talk, right? And that's how you fix it. Repeating what you've read in that book. That's how you fix yourself. All right, but if you don't do the work, you're not going to get that outcome. All right, so now moving on to the 6 pillars of effective entrepreneurial leadership. This is the 4th pillar so far. Pillar number 4, emotional resilience. Now, let me share this with you. Being emotionally resilient will make anyone's life easier and happier. And I believe that it's most important for the entrepreneur to have a higher degree of emotional resilience than the general population. Man. Okay, so in this time, like right now, I'm going through some phases, some times, man. I'm going through some struggles right now in my life emotionally. There's a lot on my mind, guys. But I keep a smile on my face. I stay positive and I stay working. I just stick to the track. You know what I mean? Whatever plan I had, I try my best to stay on track with that plan. And well, one thing I can tell you, man, is that you're not immune from the backstabber. All right, your friends and your families. Not all of them are going to be with you 100% of the time. Some of them are going to get upset with you. Some of them are going to straight turn around and stab you in the back. Some of them are going to start talking shit about you. They're going to start mocking you and start spreading rumors about you. And that's just life, man. That's just life. Not everybody's going to be your friend all the time. Eventually, they're going to get frustrated with you. Eventually, they're going to turn their back on you. And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm facing a lot of peer pressure right now. I'm facing a lot of flack for my personal beliefs. And it sucks. It sucks. It's hard. I'm not going to say it was easy. It's hard. But I'm so resilient. And, I'm a two-barrel horn here right now. I'm not the best at everything. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm not the strongest person. I'm not the biggest person. I'm not the fastest person. I'm not going to say I'm the best person you ever talked to and I'm so good and all this stuff. But one thing I am great at is being emotionally resilient. Being in control of my emotions. And sometimes it's like I want to react in another way and, blow some people out because of the way that they're treating me. But I am a very emotional, resilient person. And I'm so glad, I'm so grateful to my God that He's made me this way. Being emotionally resilient will make anyone's life easier and happier. And I believe, let's read this, I believe that it's important for the entrepreneur to have the same or even higher degree of emotional resilience than the general population. Emotional resilience helps you successfully handle all the responsibilities and unpredictability of your entrepreneurial life. You're trying to stay ahead of the curve. You're keeping an eye out on the economy, your employees, your competitors, and your clients and customers. You have an employee who quits and takes company information to a competitor, or maybe you're fined by Federal Trade Commission, or maybe you experience an economic turn down, which forces you to take a line of credit out on your own home. All these challenges are triggered for anger, depression, and emotional turmoil, right? But without emotional resilience, you end up going into a limbic state where panic and stress take over. While limbic, you are not clear-headed enough to make a decision that will benefit the longevity of your business. So, in dealing with situations, when dealing with people, when dealing with hate, when dealing with unfair circumstances, you have to be emotionally resilient. If you are not emotionally resilient, everything is going to control you. It'll control your business, it'll control your actions, your reactions, and therefore affecting everything. It affects your results. All right? So you got to be emotionally resilient. So it says you may fire off on an angry email to a customer or a passive aggressive text to your employees or your business partner. If you are not emotionally resilient, you're going to deal with shitty leaders who think they're better than they are, and they're going to come down on you. And if you're not emotionally resilient, you're going to quit and leave behind an awesome opportunity. If you are a leader and you are not emotionally resilient, you will start taking out your frustration on your team members who were not deserving of that. Now, I remember one time I was late to a meeting online, and I completely forgot about it because it was a late night meeting, and the coach texted me something and I didn't like the way he said it. I said, and I already knew. I said, look, man, in my head I was just like, just because you're going through some struggles, you know what I mean, like, and you're not emotionally resilient, you're going to fire off on me, you know, say some nasty things to me on the text message, like, hold on, you don't talk to me like that, you know what I mean, just because you're not in control of your emotions. So being emotionally resilient makes it possible for makes it possible to move from reacting to situations aggressively with fear, with rage, with doubt, to instead responding effectively. I love that. I heard that before. Do you react or do you respond? You want to respond to circumstances. You want to respond to your negative whatever situations that you're dealing with, circumstances. Being emotionally resilient will help you to make the better decisions and respond effectively. So how does being emotionally resilient serve you? It gives you the ability to control your emotions when the suck factor comes out. I love that. See, right now, it's really lonely I feel really alone right now. You know, not physically. Physically, I'm fine. You know, I enjoy time to myself and things like that. I can have fun all by myself. But as far as ideologies go, I feel like a lot of people aren't with me. And that could be very lonely, especially when you are in search of knowledge and wisdom. I prayed to God a couple years ago, or a year and a half ago, when COVID started coming in. My number one prayer was for God to give me wisdom, show me what's up. Let me know what's the truth, so that I can do my best to help my brother. And it was so frustrating to learn more and more and more and more and more and more and more, and have a thirst for it, and hunger for it, and almost sort of an addiction to learning more about truth, and to see that nobody else cares. Pretty lonely, right? But you gotta be emotionally resilient. Emotionally resilient means you have the ability to control your emotions when the suck factor comes out. So here we are in the current situation right now with the backs, right? And my own coach, man. Sometimes, you know, I feel like the way he's reacting to it, so I'm not in agreement. Sometimes I feel like it sucks. No, but it says here that your resilience means having the ability to control your emotions, even when the suck factor comes out. It means taking a step back, take a deep breath, and ask, is this person doing this to me? Or is it just happening and I'm merely a problem that I need to solve? It's merely a problem that I need to solve. Or, you know, take an hour or two or a day or two, depending on the severity of the challenge, to bake your yellow cake. Or it says here, how does it being emotionally resilient serve you? Gives you control of your emotions, right? And it also says when you take control of your emotions, you also have to take an hour or two and Think about the problem. Figure out if people are being mean to you on purpose or whatever the case is. You'll come up with 3 or 5 really effective solutions versus being stuck in the emotionally limbic state that damages your reputation, your leadership, and the trust that people have in you. Okay, there you go. Being emotionally resilient will help people. Well, you stand strong. I forgot the movie. Leonardo DiCaprio, the Native American woman, was talking about a strong tree is rooted, right? And when the wind blows, you don't see the trunk moving. You see the leaves and branches going crazy, but the trunk stays still and solid, right? Because it is resilient. So being emotionally resilient, you will have people mistreat you. You will have people be straight up mean to you, but you'll be able to still control your emotions, not react the wrong way, right? And so take an hour or two to do this, to sit there and ask about, if your circumstances are happening to you, or is it just to everybody, and is it merely just an opportunity for you to solve a problem. You'll come up with 3 to 5 really effective solutions versus being stuck in the emotionally limbic state that damages your reputation, your leadership, and the trust that people have in you. Right. Awesome. And this finishes off with our exercises. Okay, so exercise number 1. First of all, he says he guarantees you that this will work, right? Because when you are in a pattern of negative self-talk, this is a bulletproof bulletproof exercise to help you, right? Give it a shot, and the next time you'll find yourself caught in a cul-de-sac of negativity, you'll be able to handle it the right way. Number 1, change your state. So massive credit to Tony Robbins on this one. The easiest way to change your thoughts is to change your state. What should I do? I stand up. I put a smile on my face. I think about the time that I had a great experience, and it says that also change your state. I can do anything I can. Okay, do anything that you can to change the state of mind that you're in. Right, so sometimes I jump up and down and says, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. Yeah, it sounds corny, and I laugh at myself, but it works. The blood flows and the endorphins go, and boom, I'm in a more positive state of mind. I learned that a great example from this is from his mentor, Jim Franco, and I was getting to know him. He invited me to his office to give me a tour, and noticed that one of his cubicle walls for his customer reps was a mirror at face level, and underneath was a sign that said smile. I asked Jim why he did this, and he told me it's been proven that if you smile, even over the phone, people can feel that energy. They can feel the lightheartedness. It's a lesson I've never forgotten. All right, so number 2, get a little win. All right, so you feel like you're stuck on one task. Sometimes that was me this past couple weeks. Pick a task that you're good at and get a win. Sometimes in the middle of a tough business issue or problem, you'll just walk into a gym and throw, this is Bedro saying, he'll walk into a gym and throw the kettlebell around. Because, or you'll go in the backyard and start flipping tractor tires for exercise. Why? Because it's something that I'm good at. I'm strong and active, and this is something that I can get an easy win with. Alright, so the negative part of my brain that's focused on the other problem shuts down, and the positive part fires up when that happens, and I usually find more and better solutions to my problems. So, number 3. Alright, so here's the 3 answers. Number 1, change your state. Change your state of mind. Number 2, get a little win. Right? Find something that's easy to do, get it done, and boom, get a little win. Like wake up and fix your bed. All right, and number 3, show gratitude. Take 2 minutes and ask yourself right now, what am I grateful for? And as you list the things that you are grateful for, and you go through each one, take in the list, feel it, and show real appreciation. Oftentimes, we get so caught up in the details that we forget to show gratitude for the awesome lives that we have, right? And also, See what happens when you go broadcasting at 3 o'clock in the morning? Oh gosh, okay. Just listen to them and go through each one, take in the list, feel it, and show real appreciation. Oftentimes we get so caught up in the details that we forget to show gratitude for the awesome lives that we have. Show and feel real appreciation for each thing on your list, and you'll see how quickly you can go through from a negative to a positive state of mind. Thank you guys for sticking with me. This was almost an hour-long video of this chapter, and started off with some technical difficulties trying to get the sound right, and then just making little adjustments here. But we got to get faster. We got to get quicker with this thing. For those of you that are reading and listening along, man, God bless you. Thanks for being here and showing support, man. I really do hope that I'm helping somebody here by sharing this information. I encourage you to really look into this stuff, and this is stuff that I feel will really help you, especially today's chapter, man. If I could just have a straight, heart to heart with you, I pray for everybody to wake up. I pray for everybody to wake up, not just the physical, like, see, right now I just fell asleep. And I feel like that's a lot of people today. And I'm a little different than everybody else, man. My mind is, when I see information, when I receive information, I can see right through it to the truth. And my prayer is that people will also wake up and find the same thing, and be encouraged and know what's going on. Right? And I also want to tell you that if anybody is pressuring you to do anything that is against your will, don't worry. God will take care of you. Trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord. You're good. And so, man, I just want to say, man, that I feel blessed, and I'm encouraged to do these chapters, man, and show this, post another episode of the podcast. And I'm embarrassed of falling asleep right now. I was like, oh my gosh. I work hard on these things, but I don't get started till like 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when I get started to put together this video and the notes and reading the material before. A lot that goes into it. Definitely a challenge, but I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it because somebody needs to hear this stuff. Somebody needs these nuggets to help with their business, with their leadership. And there's a lot that I want to do. There's a lot, moving forward. There's a lot of things I want to visit, a lot of information I want to get across. But either way, man, I just, as I'm self-improving with these books, I pray that you are enlightened and encouraged to do the same. To take up this information and other books like it and use it to your advantage. People are depending on you to be the best person you can be, so that you can lead them the right direction, lead them the right way. And as we heard today, your subconscious mind controls a lot of the things that you do and the way that you feel and the thoughts that you have, where you articulate information, because your subconscious mind thinks a certain way, and it was through repetition of information and repetition of the mode in which you receive that information. And so I encourage you to read a book, listen to podcasts, and not the news that you see on TV. I'm going to be doing my best to help wake you guys up and sharing more information with you all. And my prayers for God to lead me and guide me and show me what to do and how I'm gonna do it, what to say, and all that stuff. But in the meantime, guys, you all stay blessed. Pick up a book and read. All right, God bless you. Be safe out there. I'm praying for y'all. If you have any questions, leave it in the chat. If you need a prayer, leave it in the chat. And share this channel, man. Show some support. I love you all. God bless you. In the name of Jesus. Amen.